After we introduced object-oriented concept from last week, we talk more about how to design a class and implement that. So the next couple slides, they talk about some important guidelines about the class design. So I want you to read line by line. Actually, most of that we already explained in the recorded video. But one thing is I want you to review with that to see everything makes sense for you or not. So if you have any question, make the note, and also the example if not clear, make the note. So we can talk about either in your discussion or we can talk about in the Zoom meeting. So that's few guidelines you need to refer to. So you can see here they also talk about when you need to define an instance method or when you should be the static method. That's all we talk about in this 2-week lecture. So after that, I want you to see the case study. We want to show you one course classes. So this course classes is not only for your homework assignment 5, and also I will have the case study to demonstrate to you to extend from this course class. How should we do for the faculty and the student class? So now we just say the first thing, that's declare and define a course class. So suppose you need to process the course information. Each course has a name, told by one instructor, and has student enrolled. You should be able to assign an instructor to the course, and this course should be able to drop or add students. So how should we define for that? So then from this example, we only show you the course class. From your textbook, you may only see the course class. So then one thing is continue after we finish the course class, we will continue to implement the student class and the instructor class. Or earlier we're using the faculty, we say faculty class. So here that's the course class UML diagram. Right, so you see here we have the class name. So we have data attribute. We have all the instance method. Right, so each course we should have course name. So then we have the array for student. But here, before we moving forward to talk about the classes relationship, we just simply to using a string array to represent the student name. So then we don't do the student object yet. We're just using the string array to represent, to store students' name. So then you have a number of students. Because we may allow, for example, in DVC, we allow have 35 students in a class. But one thing is really total how many registered. So that's why we have the number of students to keep record. Okay, so then continue, we have course constructor function. Then we can get course name. So you can see we don't set the course name. Because one thing is a course like our COMSC255, once we decide the course, that's only for this course. We cannot just whatever to change the name. So that's why you see if you don't allow the student allow outside object to update the data, you shouldn't make them public. However, we can have the add student and the drop student method. So when the student wants to add this course, so then we add student by name. When the student wants to drop the course, we drop the student by name. So then when I want to get the roster for the course, we call get student. So then they will return you a string array. Then we need to know how many students registered now. So then we can get number of students. So after you have this UML diagram, of course, you can implement the course class. So here we have the sample code to show you how we will test the course Java file after we implement the course.java file. So then here, I only have the screenshot for the handout, but later you will access the demo file to run the sample file. So that's why you can see here in the driver program, we create two different courses. One called data structure, one called database system. You see for the course 1 data structure course, I can add students. So I add 3 students by name. So then the course 2 database system, I add 2 students by name. So you see afterward you can get student number from course 1. You can get the student information from course 1. So then you can display. So that's the sample output. So that's why you can see you can download from the demo file. I have the test course Java file. That's a driver program. And also here you can run the program, but don't forget we need to have our course.java file as well. So I also including the course.java file, the initial version for you to refer to. So this one you can test with your test course driver program. Okay, so we can see here, according to the initial design, we have the course class, we have the course name, we have the string array. We just make that 100 space. So then we have the initial number of students equal to 0. So then you have your constructor function to assign the course name. So then you see here, because your constructor function only need to assign the course name. Initially, you see you don't have any student yet. So whenever we want to add a student, we just have the student name. Then we assign, you see here, number of students, this variable is very important. We initialize that equal to 0 at the beginning. So when you have the first student to add to the course, we will assign the student to the location. Because the number of students start from 0, so the first student we register, actually we will assign them to the index equal to 0. So afterward, right, so then we increment that. So then number of students registered is 1. So that's add student. So then you can get the student array. So then we just return the student list array. So that's the string array. So then of course you can get the number of students. Then you can return number of students. You can get the course name. So after this one, actually that's the initial draft for our course. So then you can run the test course file to see the result. Also then I can run the program. So that's why you can see your output like this. Okay, so I give you the first draft for the student for the course class, right? Right. So actually the next one is I want you to do some modification. Because like earlier we said, our course class, we have student array, but we don't have instructor. So that's why here, that's my updated UML diagram. I still have the course name. I still have the instructor. So we have the student list. Then we have the number of students. But here, let me color differently. That's me, I just show you the updated information. So what I want you to do is you need to update the add one instructor data attribute. So then your student list, actually I want you to change a little bit too. So then we need to have the capacity. So this capacity mean is, for example, our course, COMSC255, the capacity should be 36. At most, I only can take 36 students. But now you see here, we only have 27 or 28. So that's why here I want you to add capacity. So then about the course constructor function. So we have the course constructor function to add with the course name. But now here I want you to add another constructor function. Not only you can add the course name, you can add the instructor's name. So then we still have get course name. So then since we have instructor, so I want you to add set instructor and get instructor function. So we have add student, but here you see our drop student, we never really implement that. So you need to finish implementation. And also since we have capacity function, capacity now, so you need to change your add student. So get student, number of students, they are still the same. So then I want you to add two more member function is print and clear. So the print function is to display all the students' name and the course information. Then we have clear to clear all the data, including the students. So that's the modification we want you to do. So actually this one is your assignment 5. Assignment 5, I want you to using the course class. So revise the course class as earlier I say. And also this one, we never talk about array list yet, but some of you heard about array list. But this assignment, you cannot using array list. Okay, so do not using array list. So what I want you to do is, the array size is fixed in the example, but now I want you to improve add student method. We want you have the default capacity equal to 16. So that's why here I should write your default value is 16. So then we start from the student list, the capacity is 16. So then whenever I add a new student, then I need to check if the capacity is enough. If the capacity is not enough, you need to try to increase your size of the array. So that means sometimes we can say just double the capacity. Then the second thing, we didn't implement drop student method. So that's why you need to see how to drop student method to implement that. So how to do that is you need to first thing to find if I have the student. When I want to drop student, I need to see if this student exists in the student array. If not, do nothing. If it is, you need to find where it is. So after you find that student, you need to remove that student from your student list array. But when you remove, do not just leave that blank. You need to copy over the rest of the element one by one up. So then you need to add instructor information. So then the clear function actually just remove all the students. So then you have a method called print. So the print will display course information with the course name, instructor's name, and the number of students enrolled, and all the students' name. So this example, this assignment, you need to write a test driver that create a course with default capacity. So the first thing, you need to add 20 students. Then you remove 3. Then you add another 2. So then you call print method. So then call clear method. Then display the course info again. So here I want you to submit 2 files. The first one, course Java file alone with the course class implementation. Then you have your assignment 5 is the driver program. So that's your assignment 5. So then you can see here, actually it's just my sample output. You don't have to print out the message. But here, when I add the student, I will print out the student will add correctly. So you see here, I add 20 students first. Then I remove 3. Then we add 2. So this is optional. Depends on how you want to do. But here you can just you add a student successfully, you can display the message. If you drop student successfully, you can add message. So that's the output you have. So then here is what I say, the print method. The print method, you will display the course name, instructor's name, and how many students enrolled, and list all the students. So then at the end in your test driver, remember you clear the method, you clear the course. So then you display the course info again.